In the last 25 years, journalists who exposed the truth, politicians who dared to run, and insiders who knew too much have died. Shot on bridges, poisoned in hotel rooms, fallen from windows. This is the story of the price of opposing Vladimir Putin. October 7, 2006, Anna Politkovskaya, Russia's most fearless war correspondent, walks into her Moscow apartment building carrying groceries. She had spent years exposing atrocities in Chechnya. She'd survived a mock execution. She'd survived poisoning once already. Her crime, in the Kremlin's eyes, was refusing to stop reporting on the war they wanted hidden. This time, she didn't survive. 4 bullets, fired in her own elevator on Putin's birthday. To this day, no one knows who ordered it. London, 2006. Former FSB officer Alexander Litvinenko sits down for tea with 2 old contacts from Moscow. He had defected to Britain and become one of the Kremlin's harshest critics, accusing his former employers of crimes they desperately wanted buried. Weeks later, he's dead, killed by polonium-210, a radioactive poison so rare, so traceable, that only a state actor could have gotten hold of it. From his deathbed, he pointed a finger at one man, the President of Russia. February 27, 2015. Boris Nemtsov, once a deputy prime minister, now Putin's loudest critic, walks home across a bridge in the shadow of the Kremlin, just hours after urging Russians to march against the war in Ukraine. He had spent years exposing corruption at the highest levels of the Russian state, and he was about to publish proof of Russian troops fighting in Ukraine. He never makes it home. 4 shots. A getaway car. A bridge that tourists now visit, not as a landmark, but as a memorial. June 2023, Yevgeny Prigozhin, the mercenary chief who built Putin's private army, does the unthinkable. He marches his Wagner forces toward Moscow in open mutiny. He had turned from loyal enforcer to open challenger, the one man who dared to threaten Putin's grip on power directly. He's allowed to walk away. For 2 months, nothing happens. Then in August, his private jet drops out of the sky. No survivors, no real explanation. Just silence from the Kremlin and a message, loud and clear, to anyone else thinking about defiance. February 16, 2024, Alexei Navalny, the man who survived Novichok nerve agent poisoning, who came back to Russia knowing he'd be arrested, who kept fighting from inside an Arctic prison cell, appears in court looking healthy, smiling, sending his wife a Valentine's message. He had built the largest opposition movement Russia had seen in decades, and refused every chance to stay safely in exile. 24 hours later, he's dead. The Kremlin calls it natural causes. The world calls it the end of an era, and the latest name on a list that refuses to stop growing. Politkovskaya, Litvinenko, Nemtsov, Prigozhin, Navalny. 5 names, 5 different causes of death officially. One thing in common, they all stood against the same man. Russian authorities deny any involvement in every single case, but across 2 decades, the pattern speaks for itself. This has been History Decoded. If you want the truth the headlines won't say out loud, subscribe and stay curious.